Hi, welcome back. I hope you are doing well. It's already November and it's been a few months since I did my last journal system video. So I wanted to give you an update on what I've been using, what I haven't been using, and a little bit just about my system. There's a lot of journals I'm supposed to be using. As you can see, the stack is quite high. So I'll go through my main journals, my TN and my A5 Leuchtturm1917 journals. And then I'll also be going into some new specialty ones and old favorites. I'm going to start with my A5 Leuchtturm journals. These ones are usually my go-to. I just love Leuchtturm journals. And this one, I actually haven't been using it as much lately, unfortunately. I thought by now that I would have filled it up, especially because I was pre-decorating pages and having a really good time decorating. I've been pasting in some notes and some ticket stubs and things like that, but it's actually been a slower journal to fill up than I thought. I have all of these done already with Freckles Tea tape, these last 3. As part of my Freckles Tea video, if you want to see that one. I did write in this spread. I made this fall themed spread and I liked it so much that I actually did do a full page of journaling on this side. However, these pages are still blank. I have about 10 more to go. And like I said, I thought these would be full by now, but that's okay. Life just gets really busy. And I know that it'll be here for me when I'm ready to come back to it. And you're probably wondering why I have 2. If you haven't seen my video on how I set up a new journal, that's where this one came from. This is another Leuchtturm 1917 A5. I have my channel name debossed on the front and a little pen loop here. But you will see that only this first spread is actually filled in right now. I did this on August 13th, as you can see, and you can watch that if you want to see how I like to start a new journal. And the reason I did that so early is I thought that I would be finishing this one pretty quickly, and I wanted to have something ready for when I wanted to move into a new journal. The worst is when you go to start something new and you get too intimidated to start writing in it, so you end up putting off journaling, and I wanted to avoid that. So I made this beautiful spread, and since then I obviously haven't used it. So these 2 are sort of together for now, and when I finish the first A5 I will move into this one. As for my TN, I've made a little bit of progress in here, which I'm glad about considering everything sort of going on in my life right now. This first insert is one that I was using for memory keeping. I did a little collage at the front, and then I've just been using 1 spread per memory or 1 page per memory so that I can print out a little photo, write a little bit about what was happening that day, and paste in things that I want to keep the memory. I went to see Bottoms, which is a really good movie. I'm so glad that I went. I went out for brunch with a friend. And then after August, there's nothing. You can see how things really started to pick up in September for me. I want to go back and fill in these pages for September and October and now November. Not sure when I'll get to it, but it's still something that's on my mind. I just don't use it as often as I thought I would. This next one is my gouache painting journal. Again, made a little bit of progress. I was testing out some opacity here, and this is a watercolor insert, so it's also really good for gouache. I did these 2 paintings in this journal based on some photos I saw just on Pinterest, and I did this during one of my crafternoons with friends. If you haven't seen the video where I talk about that in a journal with me, essentially my friends and I all get together and each of us brings a craft or something that they want to work on, like Lego or studying chess, or like I was doing painting today, or knitting or journaling, and we all hang out without our phones and do our crafts together, which is a lot of fun. So I brought this there, and it doesn't look very complicated, but this took me a long time. So I'm glad that I made the progress, and I still have quite a few pages to fill up, but it's nice to look back on these paintings and remember where I did them. And then for this journal, this is my swap journal with my friends Emma and Olivia. I have a video about this one as well, where I talk about swapping journals with friends and sharing journals. I think this is the coolest thing I've ever done journal-wise, and I really like going back and reading the entries from my friends from a while ago. There's some from 2022 mostly. Reading my old entries and where I was at the time, some of our favorite stationery. So being able to look back at these is really fun. And I need to fill in a few more spreads and send it along soon so that we can continue swapping and filling it up. That is my TN, and I haven't been using it a ton, but I'm still enjoying using it when I do use it. A couple more journals. This one is my Hobonichi A5 5-year journal. This one I have been keeping up with, even if I have to backdate. I tend to leave it for a few days and come back later and fill it in afterward. I would be lying if I said that I diligently every night fill it in before bed. That was the ideal, but it just hasn't happened that way. I find as well when I'm traveling, this journal is so heavy and big and kind of bulky that I tend to not take it with me when I travel and just write some notes instead on what I'm doing and then fill it back in when I come home. But it works for me, and that's great. I also received this cute little Midori bookmark from Eunice. So shout out to Eunice if you're watching this. She works at Paper Plus Cloth, and the first time I ever met her, I was telling her how I was looking for this cute little bookmark, and I really loved the little tufted titmouse bird on top of the ink well, and how much I thought it was just so cute and would really love it for my A5 5-year journal. And she said, I have one that I'm not using, do you want it? And she offered it to me and she mailed it to me, and it was just so sweet and very selfless of her as someone she literally just met. And that's one of the best things I love about the stationery community, is people are so generous and they want to help and they want to share what they have. There's just this mindset of abundance and sharing that I really love. So thank you so much, Eunice, for that. And every time I look at my journal now, it makes me smile even more to have this cute little bird looking at me while I'm doing my journaling. So I have been keeping up with this. I'm nearing the end of my first year, of course, because it's November into December. And I'm so excited to start using this in January and be able to read what happened on each day of 2023 as I'm filling in 2024. I think that will be even more fun than filling it in the first time. So I'm using this one still. And now we'll look at these two new ones that I've added to my system. Even though I probably have too many already, these two sort of specialty new ones have been really nice additions to my system. This learning journal by Leuchtturm1917 is a new addition as of a few weeks ago, and I have a whole video on this in-depth review and my first impressions if you would like to learn more. But essentially it provides a structure to someone trying to learn something for a full 12 weeks, and it provides ways that you can actively learn the information, keep track of what you're learning, and make sure you're applying it every week so that you remember it and it becomes more of an active process instead of a passive process. That's because you tend to learn and retain things a lot better when you actively apply them and are molding and melding and moving the information around and using it in different contexts, rather than just writing out notes and hoping that memorizing will stick. So it's been a lot of fun to go through the experiments and use this to help me learn in my human-centered systems thinking course that I'm taking for work. I just finished week 4 and I'll be moving into week 5 of 12. So I will continue on in this journey. And if you're interested in learning more about it, I can always do a follow-up video when I'm closer to finishing this journal. Just let me know. So I've added that to my system, and a lot of my journaling time has gone into this because it is quite time intensive. So I think that's why my A5 Leuchtturms have sort of suffered in the short term. And then finally, I have this cute little A6 journal. This was a gift from my mom, who saw it immediately and thought of me. I am a Taurus. I love gold gilded edges and gold details, as everybody knows. So that is a really nice touch. It's by Portico Designs. I'm not sure where she bought it or if it's still available, so apologies if it isn't and you're looking for it. But it's this adorable little journal, and it is lined, which is not my usual choice when it comes to a journal, but it's actually worked out super well for me so far. Originally, I was actually using this as a book review journal, and it was fun to use at the beginning, but I found that I didn't really care for in-depth reviews of every single book that I read, so quickly I decided to not use it anymore. I was using it at the beginning of last year in January. It sat on my shelf for a while after that, and then I looked at it a few weeks ago and thought that it would be a great way for me to keep track of some of my to-dos and just making it a really messy journal that I barely put any decorations in or anything like that. And now I use it as more of a brain dump journal in general. Because it's so small and compact, I have a really easy time bringing this with me on the train, bringing this with me traveling on the subway, when I'm on transit or when I'm waiting for something and it's in my bag and ready to go, so that I can do something else instead of just scrolling on my phone. It's been a nice way to get my thoughts out, to brain dump, to process things that have been happening recently with so many things on the go and so much on my mind. My writing is extremely messy. I'm using one of my Leuchtturm ballpoint pens in black to write in here, and it works perfectly. I bring that with me as well. Sometimes I'll just tuck it into the spine and just carry it like that. It works perfectly since the pen is so small. And I'll just write whatever I want, and having that available as an option has been great for me and my mental health, and also makes me think more of how to make my journaling a little bit more portable and not worry about it always looking beautiful. As a unexpected addition to my journal system, it has been really great, and I will continue to use it until it's filled up. That is a really quick update of all the journals I've been using in my system and how it's going. Did any of this surprise you or maybe make you think about your own system? Or have you been really consistent with your system since you set it up earlier this year? I would love to know. The big changes I've made, adding a couple of journals and not really journaling in my A5, are things I did not expect to happen in a few short months after making that video, but things are always changing, and I welcome the different changes as they come. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.